Do you suffer from lifestyle deficit disorder? The purpose of the Perfect Day podcast is to share simple steps and strategies as a powerful antidote to lifestyle deficit disorder. Listen in as I reveal a path away from disillusionment and dissatisfaction to a life of purpose, joy, and freedom, making every day a perfect day. Welcome to the Perfect Day podcast. Perfect days. In a world filled with fear, scarcity, and perfectionism, perfect days are far from perfect, and they're yours for the taking. If I were to tell you that they were easy to have, would you want more? I'm Cokie, your Perfect Day engineer. The goal of the show is to bring you real-life perfect day successes, struggles, and strategies so that you can create more perfect days in your life. I'm so excited to have Adaire Pennington here today. Adaire is the owner of Fix Blow Dry and Color Bar, which is a full service. I take great pride in saying this. A full service Aveda concept salon that she's been running for 3 years now?
We've been full service for 3 years, but
okay.
I've actually been open as a salon for 5.5.
Okay.
Almost 6.
You know, I could use a perfect hair day. So it's a shame that you're not here in Atlanta and that I couldn't go before we came on the show today. But I would like some tips. We got to talk lots about perfect day and lifestyle deficit disorder. But Aveda, I just have to do a plug, is my favorite product. There was a day in my life where I would commute, if you can believe this, all the way to Maryland to get my hair done.
I believe it.
It's shameful.
I opened a business just to get my hair done.
That's awesome.
So I can believe it.
That is awesome. You know, it's amazing perfect day for me to have Adaire here. Adaire and I are childhood friends. We grew up together in Charleston. And notwithstanding, she is going to be attending tomorrow's Perfect Day workshop in Atlanta. So that's a lead-in for, Adaire and I have not, how long have you been in Augusta?
10 years. 11 years.
I was going to say, it feels like a lot longer than that.
11.
But I've been in Colorado and college and far off and all this and that. So we really haven't lived in the same city together for some time. No. And so we were so close growing up, but it felt like there's been this gap. And, Augusta's not that far away, but all those things being said, I want to know what connected with you to make you want to come to Perfect Day Workshop.
Oh, gosh, that's easy. The 411 Live, definitely.
Oh,
yeah.
I love it. I didn't plug that. I didn't plug that. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, when I first saw your 411 Live, I knew I probably wasn't going to start at 5:30. But it sparked me to get up a little earlier than I normally would.
You've joined us at 5:30.
I have.
Yeah.
I have.
Proud of you.
Once I tried to join you at 5:30 and you weren't there, too.
Right?
Yeah.
And that happens.
Right.
It happens often.
Right. But I went back to sleep. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, that's okay. Did you do your 4?
I did.
Okay. Very good. So listeners are probably sick of hearing me say what 411 is. What does 411 mean to you? Like, how do you take what I'm trying to implement? What does it mean to you in your life?
Well, I definitely always have in the back of my head like a list of things that I would like to get done in my day. But when you say that you would like for our 411 to be things that you wouldn't normally do, you would put off maybe for another couple days or something like that, that's when I start thinking. And it's really hard to come up with things that you know you're going to procrastinate about.
Right. What I love is, I don't know if it was chicken or the egg, but I remember, I think you had joined us for a 411 Live, and then you shared with me your list. So you have a group of girls. Are they just girls?
The 2 girls.
Yeah.
My college roommates.
Okay, so your college roommates that you engage with. I've talked about this on 411 Live. And you have a list of 10. Do they do 10?
Mm-hmm. We all have the same 10.
Oh, you have the same 10. So this is what I didn't know. So we're exposing you because I've talked live about this on some of, yes. So you had a list of 10 and you shared that with me. And it was just I was overwhelmed. I was like, wow, these are the 10 things you're striving for each and every day. It was a very impressive list, I'll tell you. And, I think it just gives, it gave me some validation. It made me feel good that, what, other people are doing this. I think there's a little bit of a different framework I try to bring to the table. Number one, when we talk about perfect days, most times I get this like deer in the headlights of, oh, that sounds really perfect and really hard. And so that's why I try to bring it down to a number of 4. Those 4 things, if, one of the contexts I try to bring to it is make one of them brave. Can one of the 4 each day, can you strive to do something brave, or what are you afraid of? Is there a conversation you've been wanting to have with a loved one, or how about this? Let's turn this back to the salon. Is there a conversation that you've been wanting to have with one of your employees?
Oh, easily.
Right.
I struggle with some of them often, but I always have that little part of me that wants to be nice and not be the bad guy. And
right.
Really, really confronting somebody about something would definitely make me feel like I'd done something brave at work.
So we had Brandon Smith, the workplace therapist, on the podcast, and we were talking about dysfunction within the workplace. And I hope I'm not misquoting you, Brandon, but he said it's communication and clarity, just being really clear. And for me, that was like, oh, well, that sounds easy, communicating clarity. But for me, it was then like, afraid button. It led me to think that, I know that when my employees come to me or I need to go to them, it's like, oh, this is going to be awkward and this is going to be hard. But anyway, that's just an example of some things that we like to put on the 411. So back to Fix. Give us a story. Take us back to, you have an accounting degree, and you wake up. I know the particulars about your family you may want to share. Adaire has 2 children and a husband who's a cardiologist, and you have an accounting degree. And you wake up one day and you start Fix Blow Dry Bar. Tell us about that. How'd that come to pass? And give us a story.
Well, my youngest daughter, I guess at the time, was about in the 6th grade. So I was starting to feel like, she could stay at home alone. She could fend for herself a lot. And I started to feel a little less useful as a mom. Huh. And I had a job. I've always had something in the works as far as working, but it was a part-time job, and I helped another retail store open her 2nd store. And once I did that, I was like, I can do this. With my accounting degree, I can do all of the accounting. I can do the taxes. I can do everything. So I think I can do this.
You found your eunice. You were good at it.
But then I was waiting a little while for it to come to me what I wanted to do.
Okay.
And I was riding in the car with my husband, and I think I had been to a blow-dry bar in, I want to say Charleston, probably, or Atlanta. And I said, Williams, this is what I need to open a blow-dry bar in Augusta. There's nowhere to go.
I think
get
you're good
your
at spotting
hairstyled.
trends.
Yeah.
Because that was a trend.
It was a
4 or 5
trend.
years ago. It was like just brand new starting to happen.
Yeah. And I'm not sure Augusta was completely ready for it, which is why we eventually moved into a full-service salon. And but yet hung on to the blow-dry bar idea. That's why we're called Fix Blow Dry and Color Bar.
So for listeners, I love this because you're a small business owner. You've spotted a trend. You saw stagnation. You shared that,
Mm-hmm.
yes?
Yes.
I think you shared that with me, that all of a sudden you were seeing sort of some limited growth. And then what did you do? And did you have any systems in place that showed you limited growth? What were you doing? How did you know you had limited growth? I know that sounds like commonplace, but I have to tell you, I work with business owners who don't know.
Right. I pay real close attention to the numbers.
Okay.
Very.
How so? QuickBooks, what are your?
Well, I do QuickBooks online, and I basically at the end of the year hand my QuickBooks to my accountants. They do the taxes, and it's like a $300 charge, whereas most people pay an accountant throughout the year to do all this.
Right.
But I always looked at, we went through the first year, and that was kind of a crapshoot. And then the next year, the minute January came, the end of the month, I was so excited to compare the January before to this January. And I did that every month. And went through a few little trials and tribulations, but finally it wasn't growing. And we got into, I think, the beginning of the third year, and it hadn't grown. And we were in a small shopping center, didn't have a lot of traffic, and I was approached by somebody in a Whole Foods shopping center that they were developing it, and they wanted a salon in there. They are the ones who made me become a full-service salon, so it was kind of a snowball effect. But once we made that move, things skyrocketed. I mean, every month was better than the last month from the year before.
So, I mean, there's one of your successes and strategies is just monthly looking at your numbers.
Yes.
And if they're stagnating, it's time to make a plan, right?
Right.
You know,
Change.
I like to think that there's a difference between a business owner and an entrepreneur. And it's so clear to me you're an entrepreneur because I don't know if that resonates with you. But it's clear that you're spotting trends. You had an opportunity and then you took a risk.
Yes.
So tell me about that. Was there any fear around that? Was there, how did you get yourself to that place? And or do you just think it's part of your DNA and it's just what you do?
I think it's a big part of just what I do. My mind is always spinning. I mean, I don't know. I made jewelry when I lived in Charleston for a while. It was just always something to make.
I remember
Yeah.
you made, for me, you hand blew glass beads and I wore it in my hair for my wedding.
That's right.
It was gorgeous.
Totally forgot about that.
It was gorgeous. Okay. Sorry.
Well,
Sidebar.
anyway.
Sidebar. That was awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
But
I've
you've always been entrepreneurial.
I've always been
Yeah.
trying new things and tried something. And I think the thing that made me take the risk is flat out just, I'm not going to fail. I mean, this blow dry bar thing's not working, so let's try something else because I'm not going to fail. And that's what I asked my husband what he thought my recipe for success was. And he goes, "You're stubborn."
Okay, I'm going to put that with opportunist, risk taker, and stubborn. I like that. I like
or
that.
persistent, whatever you want to call it.
Yes. There's a way to spin that, right?
Yes.
And so you made the move, and
made the
it's
move.
been gangbusters ever since.
Well, and it was a
Tell us
huge
about your
move.
growth, because it's exciting growth that listeners should hear.
Yes. Well, I mean, it was a huge move. I'm still not completely sure I can attribute the revenue growth to adding services or if it's the location. So that's been kind of a question in my head.
Who cares?
Yeah, who cares?
Well, I mean, I don't know if that's
Well,
true or not. We can talk about that.
Yeah.
I have to say this. Okay, I got to shout this out because I'm going to start coming to Augusta. Do you do curly hair?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's great because then I get to see you more often.
Yeah.
So I know you're on social. I know this is a little bit of a switch, but I have to talk about hairdos and the masters. I mean, is this a crazy time for Fix?
Oh yeah, it's
Like it has to be,
it's
right?
getting wrapped
I mean,
up.
like I don't know if I haven't been to the Masters in probably 4 years. So we're going to break. I want to hear about the crazy people you see during the Masters at Fix, Blow Dry, and Color Bar. And when we come back, we're going to talk about lifestyle deficit disorder. A perfect day is far from being about perfection. At the root of a perfect day is gratitude, even for life's mistakes. You've got the book, now get the tools. Join me for this exclusive webinar where I will teach you how to create more perfect days in your life. Welcome back to Perfect Day Podcast. I've got Adaire Pennington of Fix, Blow Dry, and Color Bar of Augusta. Okay, our break talk was just too girly and too fun. It's been nice. Talking all things masters and social media. So you are on Pinterest.
We are on Pinterest, Facebook, Instagram.
How do we find you?
Pinterest and Twitter were Fix Blow Dry Bar.
Okay. And we'll put it up.
Fix Blow Dry and Color Bar on the other ones.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. Because as I understand, as we were talking about the Masters, this is the place to hang out during the Masters. So, yeah, I'm hearing maybe tickets to the Masters get passed around, and all kind of interesting perks from patrons. So that's awesome. So I got to ask, and maybe you can't answer, but Lindsey Vonn, tell me she's come in. I knew she used to hang around the Masters a couple years ago.
She might be avoiding it more than anybody else.
But that girl, okay, she can ski, and she's got a heart, and she is fearless. But damn it, she's got some hair. That hair is gorgeous.
She does. I would love to get her in there.
I mean, you're a hair expert now. You know this. So
I wouldn't.
Anyway, I would have thought that with her former goings on and former friends.
She really cares about her makeup too. You could tell she took those goggles off and she's full makeup.
Do y'all do makeup?
Yes.
Okay, so you do makeup too.
We
so
do.
This is a great opportunity to talk about how you as the entrepreneur sees different profit centers that you should go into. I mean, you're in a Veda salon. I mean, a Veda is creme de la creme, amazing. Right. How do you make those decisions on profit centers and, positioning yourself, is to obviously blow dry is a big thing. You've decided to stay with that. Talk to us about the profit centers and other things that you're thinking about adding, that you've dropped.
Well, I have a lot of help from Aveda.
Okay.
I have a salon development partner, and she tells me what other salons are doing, and you really need to add makeup.
I like that because that goes into the theme of Perfect Day, which is you can't do it on your own, right? And you've talked to me about this,
yes.
About how it takes so much help and other people. So that's
Correct.
Awesome.
Yeah. But I also kind of have a rule. If it doesn't take off within a month or so, we kind of drop it. We're just starting facials. Hopefully that'll take off because it's a great
that's harsh. A month and done.
A couple months probably before I completely drop it. But I mean, if people aren't asking for it, we can put something else on the menu there.
Okay.
But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I don't like to hang on to something.
It's like the slow to hire, quick to fire.
Yes.
Yeah. Right.
Yes.
I bet you live that. I bet there's a lot of turnover in your industry.
There is.
Is that a struggle?
It's a very different, how do I say it, group of
industry
people who want to be in this industry.
Okay. You can say it.
Let's just stay with different.
Yeah. Okay. We'll stay with
a lot of vanity, which you would understand.
Adaire loves her employees.
I do. I really do.
Yeah.
I was telling you even that I love the diversity of the people that I've met throughout all
Okay.
this.
I love that. We got to talk about that in a bit. But yeah. So we were talking profit centers, and so if it doesn't go, you nix it. And where are you deriving your source of inspiration? Or, I mean, do you daily do any sort of business development? Are you dialing? I mean, Aveda, you said they help you, but are you dialing into any other journals or other things that help you with ideas? Do you have other friends who own salons?
No, and that's probably been the hardest part.
Okay.
We're a different kind of a salon. We're a team. We're not like you go in your booth and you work and don't talk to me. We all work as a team. And so we all kind of come up with things together. I mean, I think one of my girls, who's my manager actually, she's the one who came up with the facial idea. She had been to a class and she was like, I think some Aveda salons are doing these complimentary mini facials. And then that'll lead into selling the real facial and the skincare products and whatnot. And she just came up with it, and I said, okay. And
so you listened.
Yeah.
Amy Baylog of Connection Services has been on the show, and that's a big buzzword right now is listening.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what's pervasive with those who have LDD, and I want to talk about your LDD and your experiences with lifestyle deficit disorder. One of the pervasive issues is not being present. And if you're not present, you're not listening. Right? So you weren't frenzied in the salon one day. You heard your employee, which is awesome, about facials. Great. There's even more that Augusta holds for me than perhaps a good blowout in a decent color. So I'm glad to hear about that.
You're getting upcharged on your blowout, by the way.
I do need an upcharge. I laugh when people look at this head of hair when they're like, "Oh, $25 blowout for anybody." I'm like, "Oh, you're going to lose some money and grow some biceps."
I might lose an employee.
But and you might lose an employee. That's right. That's right. So chronologically, I want us to back up a little bit because you've got a really great story about lifestyle deficit disorder and your wake-up call of oh God, yes, I have experienced LDD. So tell us when that happened and what that looked like.
It's funny because I didn't really pay close attention to all this, but until I started hearing you talk about it, the LDD, and I started looking back and analyzing everything. And when I first opened, I was bound and determined to do everything myself. And that includes all the accounting that I still do now, but also front desk, inventory. I even learned to blow dry hair and do updos so that we didn't have to pay somebody to do it.
Are those non-negotiables for you now?
What?
Blowouts and updos. Do you do them anymore?
I don't do them anymore.
Are they non-negotiable?
Yes.
Just curious.
No, I won't.
Yeah.
I won't.
That's just a buzz I use with my clients.
Yeah,
Like, what are your non-negotiables?
I will not. And
good girl.
Working on a Saturday is
And working on a Saturday. I love
That's a
it.
big
So
one.
I want to hear what you're doing on Saturdays alternatively. But go back to the LDD.
So I was doing everything myself. And I had one of my big stories that my daughter, who's 17 now, she was in the 6th grade at the time, she will never forget it. 4 different times, I just 3 o'clock came and went, and I just forgot to get her from school.
I don't mean to laugh, but
and the funny thing is, I'm working and I don't have my phone with me, so she would call me, and I wouldn't even answer the phone when she called me.
yeah, I'm like, wait a minute, my ringer's off. My ringer's off. I
Yeah.
say to my girls.
One time I ended up catching it about 45 minutes later, but another 3 times my friend just kind of pulls up to the front door, fix, and drops her off.
So you did have a village. You had a village supporting you.
I did.
And you don't have a wayward daughter.
Right. She's okay.
She didn't go off the reservation.
No.
Because mom didn't get her
survived it.
4 times.
Yeah, she thinks
So
it's funny now.
I think Weems, your son, suffered as well.
He
What
did.
happened?
He was a junior or senior in high school.
And is this all about the same time frame?
Yes.
Okay.
Within the same year,
so this
probably.
was when you had the affliction.
Yes.
Serious height of LDD.
Prom time comes around, and of course, that's a huge time at Fix.
Oh, I'm sure you were slammed.
Helping do hair, trying to, squeeze in every bit of money possible, his prom came and went as well.
Oh, no.
He had to literally had to call the tux rental place and go there and get them to tie his bow tie for him.
Oh, no.
I know. That was the worst. I just missed it.
So you weren't there?
I wasn't there.
You weren't there for a picture. You weren't there for the corsage. You weren't there for the bow tie.
Just left, yeah.
And Weems, wow.
That's a sad one. He probably definitely does
you know
not
what? I bet he
suffer from it.
Some boys and moms are like, "Oh, mom, it's fine. You're not here."
Yeah.
And clearly, they're both thriving and doing super well.
Right.
But it is a mom moment, right? And I think it's a great, anecdote and story for the moms who are out there, because we all wear too many hats. We wear way too many hats. And that's something we talk about in the workshop tomorrow. So I'm excited.
Good.
You're going to be there.
Good.
I encourage business owners, moms in particular, to visualize this virtual hat rack in the corner. And when you have the framework for your perfect days, and your framework can come simply from your 411 every day, is to looking at your virtual hat rack and go, okay, I've got 4 hats on the hat rack. And they're your 4 things. Like, you've got an extra minute in your day. What are you going to do? You go to your 4 things. You go to your 4 hats. You take the other ones off, and you focus there. Right. You have a great, what I call, I'm giving you all my perfect day buzzwords, but you have a great, what I call an ER moment.
Yes.
Which is one of those moments in either in someone's life or in their career where they have this unfortunate, sometimes it's an unfortunate accident or a situation. I'm glad that yours was not as bad. I mean, in my experiences with clients, it's been death, divorce, hospitalization, rehab, death, divorce, rehab. Okay.
Yeah.
So your ER moment, thankfully, wasn't like that. But what was your ER moment within the salon? And I think this was after your move or was before the move?
It was in the process.
Okay, in the process of the move.
Yes.
So tell us what that looked like
Well,
and what resulted.
Okay. Well, like I said, I've been trying to do everything myself. And we made the move and we're selling Aveda products, all of them. So I'm in the shop getting ready. Nobody's there. I've lost my employees because they were paid hourly. And I was going to have to start over with one. I think I had one. But they were off making money during the time we moved.
Right. They're part-timers and they've got to get other jobs. Sure.
So I'm at Fix getting stuff ready, as fast as I can. And the truck pulls up with the Aveda retail delivery.
Which is like hundreds of boxes, I'm sure.
Yeah, hundreds. Okay. I mean, we dove in. We started selling everything. And he drops them off. He leaves. And I just started crying. I was about to have to enter every single piece of product into the computer all by myself, put it on the shelves, label the shelves. I mean, everything I was about to have to do myself because Hero had taken it all on. Sit down on the floor and bawling my eyeballs out. And just that morning, I'd put in an ad in Craigslist for a receptionist.
Uh-huh.
All of a sudden, there's a knock on the door, and this cute little petite thing with bright blue hair and gauges in her ears and knocking on my door. And she's just got this big grin on her face, and she's just waving. And I'm like, woo! And I let her in, and she just first immediately hugs me. And it just made me feel so good, but I hired her on the spot, and she started entering inventory immediately.
Didn't she just say, let me just help? Or she said
I can start today.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And boy, did you need her, right?
Yes. She ended up being my manager for 2 years.
I love it. Yeah. So with an LDD correction, a move in the business, an ER moment of delegation, because you've become a really good delegator.
Yes. Maybe
that has resulted in one of your non-negotiables of Saturdays off. Yes. So it's a perfect Saturday, and you've got your 10 things done. Maybe not 411 live or 411. You've got your 10 things done. What happens on a Saturday that makes it awesome?
Oh, well, I wish I could say I could just go to the beach.
Yeah.
I can't because I live in Augusta, Georgia.
Yes. But you spend a ton of time on Folly. Come on.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if I could blink since we're making this up, it would involve the beach for sure.
Involve the beach.
Yes.
Toes in the sand.
Yes.
I love it.
I don't even have to have the sun.
I love it. So we have talked perfect day, toes in the sand, here with Adaire Pennington of Fix Blow Dry and Color Bar in Augusta. Book your appointments now because the Masters is coming soon. I thank you so much for joining us here on the Perfect Day podcast for all things Cokie, including 411, your ticket to more perfect days in your life. Find me at CokieBarini.com. Thanks for joining us.